According to Brook, their new Super Converter will bring your Neo Geo to life. Let's see what they bring to the table and if it lives up to the claim. What's happening, guys? Todd here. For those of you not familiar with them, Brook Design is a Taiwanese company specializing in game controller adapters and converters. Their products allow you to use the game controller from one console on a completely different console. They also have some PCB boards designed for universal fight sticks to be supported on all the current game consoles. Today we're taking a look at the newest in the Super Converter line, the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 to Neo Geo Converter. This adapter allows you to plug in a USB PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 gamepad or fight stick and use it with your Neo Geo. It also supports wireless Bluetooth PlayStation 3 and 4 controllers as well. It's sold exclusively by Arcade Shock and it runs about $45. In the box we have the converter itself, the manual, and some Brook stickers. Looking at the unit, we see the converter is on the end of about a 6-inch cable attached to the Neo Geo 15-pin controller connector. The connector on the end of the cable is almost exactly the same length as an original Neo Geo controller, so it fits perfectly fine in a Neo Geo home console or the CD console, so there's no worries about it falling out. On top of the converter, there's a small switch for selecting Neo Geo mode or PC mode, which is marked XID. More on the PC mode in just a moment. Right below the switch there's an activity LED and a push button that duplicates the start button on the controller. Honestly, I have no idea why it's there, as every controller is already going to have a start button, but hey, it's there nonetheless. On the front left of the adapter is a micro USB connector for the PC. This allows you to do firmware updates and use a PS3 or PS4 controller on your PC. A cable for this is not included. Then finally there's a regular USB port to connect your PlayStation controller into. This adapter also supports Bluetooth functionality of PlayStation 3 and 4 controllers. Plug the USB cable into your Bluetooth controller, let it register with the Super Converter, and then you can unplug it to enjoy hands-free gaming. This is something I have not tested as I don't have a regular PlayStation gamepad on hand. Before we go any further, I do have one critique on the Super Converter size. I'm not sure why they couldn't have made it more compact without all this extra cable. I would have preferred a design closer to the 8-bit DOE retro receiver size. I just think all this extra cable and bulk is unnecessary and makes the device kind of cumbersome. Okay, to get started, plug the Super Converter into your Neo Geo, plug in your USB PlayStation 3 or 4 controller, and power on your system. For this video, I'm using a Hori Real Arcade Pro 4. For the remainder of this video, I'll be demoing the Super Converter attached to my Neo Geo MVS setup, as it's easier to show button mappings than the MVS hardware test screen. The standard layout of buttons is A button is X, circle is B, square is C, triangle is D. If you're used to a Neo CD gamepad, this layout is the exact same A, B, C, D, and the exact same pattern. If you plug in a standard PS3 or PS4 gamepad into the Super Converter, it mimics that, so it's an exact same layout. This is ideal for a gamepad. Now, most users of gamepads will probably not venture far away from that layout. However, for a fight stick, using just these 4 buttons, that is terrible. You're going to want to remap them to probably either these 4 buttons or the top 4. Luckily, you can easily remap them to the Super Converter. If you look at the manual, it gives you a walkthrough on how to remap the buttons. Also, it talks about turbo and talks about doing macro functions. However, the instructions are written wrong. Throw those away. You don't want to use those. I'm going to show you how to quickly reassign these buttons. Only things you need to know is where your start button is, your PlayStation and select button. In the case of my Wrap 4, the PlayStation and select button are on the right hand side. If you're using a different stick, it'll obviously possibly be somewhere else, maybe on the back or on the side. To enter programming mode, what we want to do is hold the PlayStation button, quickly hit start button. You're now in programming mode. What we're going to want to do is I'm going to move A, B, C, D to the top up here. So what we're going to do is move the D, which is on triangle, down to L1 to start with. So what we'll do is press the destination button. In this case, I'm going to hit L1. This is telling the joystick and the Super Converter that we want to move a function onto that button. So we pressed L1, we hold down the select button, hit triangle. At this point, I have copied that function down to here. I hit the start button and then hit PlayStation again. If we go and check, we now have D on L1. So basically you need to make sure the first button, once you go into programming mode, you want to hit the destination button. If you do it the other way around per the instructions, you'll be all messed up, buttons will be mapped in the wrong direction or in-mapped, they'll be all screwed up. Let's continue remapping the buttons. I'm going to hold on PlayStation, quickly hit start, I'm back in programming mode. I'm going to move C, which is on square, down to R1. So I press R1 as the destination for the move, hold down the select button, press square, hit start. I've confirmed that I moved that down there. We can also continue. We don't have to go in and out of programming mode per button. We can continue with it. So we're going to move B up to triangle. So I'm going to press triangle as the destination. Hold down the select button. Press the O button. Hit start. I've now copied that function up there. We'll go another one. We're going to do square. Hold down the select. We'll press X. We've now copied that function up there. Hit start. And when you're ready to exit, you hit PlayStation button to exit programming mode. And now I have A, B, C, D. So now I have all 4 buttons in the exact location I want them to be in. But there is a fly in the ointment. The custom button mappings and macros are not maintained after you power your console off. Want to change the game? You'll need to remap the buttons. Power goes out? Too bad, because you're going to need to remap those buttons. Each time it defaults back to the original configuration. For me, this is a total deal breaker. If you use a standard gamepad and like the Neo CD button arrangement, then this adapter will probably be a welcome accessory. However, if you use pretty much any arcade stick or just like remapping buttons to a more comfortable configuration, then you'll have to do that each time you turn on your Neo Geo. I just don't understand why this device doesn't maintain button configurations at their power cycle. I reached out to Arcade Shock to verify this, and they confirmed that this behavior is correct. And I almost forgot to mention, when you move the joystick or press a button, the LED light on the top of the converter blinks to indicate activity every single time. I suggest covering it with tape or positioning it so you don't see it, because frankly it's kind of annoying. One concern that always crops up is if there's any perceivable lag. I'm happy to report that I have not noticed any lag whatsoever, and stick and button presses are quick and instantaneous. So if you're a super competitive player, I don't believe this will have any effect on your playing skills. There is a possibility that I'm simply not the target audience for this device. However, for the average Neo Geo gamer who just wants to be able to pop in their favorite game and use their existing PlayStation USB joystick, this converter makes absolutely no sense. That is, unless you like having remap buttons every time you hit the power switch. With the PlayStation gamepad, the default button configuration is fine as it mimics a Neo CD controller, but for fight sticks, it's completely unacceptable. In the end, I can overlook the slightly bulky adapter, and I can overlook, or rather cover up, the annoyingly bright, blinking red LED, but I just can't get past the fact that this converter does not save custom button mappings. Add all these things up, plus the fact that it costs you $45, and I can't help but feel this device is simply not worth your money. If I was to give it a rating and I use a school system like grade, I would give it a D-. I can't recommend it whatsoever. Well guys, that's it for this video. If you thought this video was helpful, consider giving me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more great future content. And finally, do you think I was too harsh on the Brook Super Converter? Or do you agree with me that they completely missed the mark? Let me know in the comments section below. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.